Hartlike welkom by Agri Monitor op 'n herfsoggend. Dit is redelik koel in die nag, maar in die middag is dit weer snikheet warm. Vandag in ons program, ons gee natuurlik vir julle al die nuus wat in Agri Monitor is. Ons het baie belangrike artikels veral wat invoer en uitvoer betref in die landboubedryf. En dan gee ons natuurlik soos gewoonlik vir julle die veilings, die dagboek en die vleispryse. Vandag in ons videosegment gaan ons vir julle die boekbekendstelling van hierdie boek gee. Baie interessante, insiggewende boek wat deur die Konrad Adenhauer Stiftung bekendgestel is in Windhoek. Belangrike temas van hierdie boek is water, energie en voedsel. Die boek se tema is Namibia's Water, Energy, Food Nexus, National Development in Uncertain Times. Die boek is geskryf deur dokters Detlef van Oortsen en Martin Schneider, as ook die waterkenner Piet Heinz. Ons speel dan uit met 'n video van Agribank. Vandag op Agri Monitor se voorblad, ons twee hoofartikels se opskrifte is streng regulasies vir ruvoer, invoer knelboere. En die ander artikel is hersiene voorwaardes vir vee-uitvoer na Suid-Afrika. Nou, dit is twee groot uitdagings, veral in die veebedryf. Want boere staan midde die droogte letterlik voor deure wat invoer en uitvoer betref. Aan die een kant word daar gesukkel om ruvoer vanaf Suid-Afrika in te voer en aan die ander kant is daar nuwe regulasies vir vee-uitvoere na die buurland. Dit raak veral die speenkalfbedryf. Hierdie maatreëls is volgens die Landbouprodusente-organisasie of die LPO eensaidig deur Suid-Afrikaanse owerhede aangekondig sonder enige konsultasie met belanghebbendes en dit sluit Namibiese owerhede in. Namibië het dus geen ander keuse as om tans aan hierdie vereistes van die invoerland te voldoen nie. Ons het gesels met die landboukenner Roo en hy beamoen dat die huidige maatreëls deur Suid-Afrika bloot net gestoomroller is, soos met vorige invoer vereistes. So dit is 'n baie belangrike uitdaging vir ons, veral vir ons veeboere, maar die LPO is in gesprek met owerhede in Suid-Afrika. Wat die re-invoer betref, is die departement veeartsenydienste weer in konsultasie met hulle Suid-Afrikaanse ewet nie. Dan op bladsy 2 het die Landbouministerie in hul begrotingsmotivering gesê die Rundu abattoir is aan Meatco oorhandig en vleis van noordelike kommunale gebiede is byna gereed om na Qatar uitgevoer te word. Onthou net, hierdie vleis moet aan halal vereistes voldoen. So ons moet ook maar kyk wat gebeur. Op ons agterblad is natuurlik altyd nuus oor op die toerismefront en omgewingsake en daar wys ons vir julle pragtige foto's van die Onguma Tented Camp in die Onguma Wildreservaat. daar langs die Etosha Nasionale Park. Hierdie tentkamp het 'n pragtige nuwe baadjie aangetrek en soos julle kan sien, daar is sulke jacuzzi goed ingebou in die houtdekke en dan het jy nou die pragtige uitsig oor hierdie reservaat. Baie, baie mooi. Ek wens ek kan eendag daar gaan kuier.
Did you know you can buy a new or second-hand vehicle, such as light delivery vans, trailers, small trucks and tractors for agricultural use? The repayment period for these vehicles ranges between 5 and 10 years. Contact your nearest Agribank branch or visit our website at www.agribank.com.na for more information about this loan product. You can also visit us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and YouTube. Agribank, your all-season bank.
With the question, how do we ensure that our population of 3 million have enough food to survive? This is indeed a challenging subject. Food production in Namibia is diverse. We are producing food in all 14 regions, from the Zambezi region to Oranjemund and from the Kunene region to the far south of the country in Karasburg and Gibeon in the Karas region. We are producing and marketing food in the informal sector as well as in the formal sector. We are selling a wide range of food products to wholesalers and are exporting food and beverages beyond our borders. Food production takes place in conservancies, in rural settlements, as well as in urban areas, on farms and small holdings to secure food for own households and businesses, as well as additional income by selling fresh produce and meat to customers wherever possible. Such examples include small holdings close to Windhoek, Swakopmund, Maruru and Okahandja. And as has been noted, Namibia is not blessed with water, and the lack and sufficient rain and periods of drought remain persisting threats to food production. Utilizing water for irrigation farming remains important, and it is interesting to note that since independence, over 30 years ago, we succeeded to increase our overall areas under irrigation considerably. At independence, approximately 5,000 hectares land was under irrigation, whereas approximately 15,000 hectares are being irrigated to date to ensure a large variety of crops being produced for local and export markets. Of course, we are utilizing our permanent running rivers, as mentioned, the Orange, the Zambezi and the Okavango and Kunene, but are also irrigating by using water stored in reservoirs, dams, as well as relying on sufficient groundwater, boreholes, aquifer, and natural springs. In addition, food production also depends on dryland farming, relying, of course, on sufficient rain at the right time. Major irrigation operations are the government-run green schemes, the Hadap and Stampriet areas, the Orange River project at Ausenkær and Noordoever, and at the Nate Dam. In addition, there are operations in the Maize Triangle and in the Omaheke and Zambezi regions. We are producing grapes, dates and blueberries for export markets. Of late, even trials with bananas have started. At Kalimbeza, in the Zambezi region, we have been producing so-called jumbo rice for more than 30 years. Yet none of this rice has found its way to the shelves in our capital. Government's intention is to increase areas for irrigation, which is possible, but will require sufficient resources and careful planning. Namibia's largest dam, the Neckartal Dam, was completed in 2018. The initial intention by government was to have 5,000 hectares under irrigation. This figure was later reduced to 2,000 hectares. To date, no irrigation project has been established at Neckartal Dam, and sadly, water continues to evaporate from this large water resource. Apart from irrigation, Namibia remains a major meat producer, as well as being able to harvest substantial fish resources from the Benguela Current, where we also produce large amounts of salt. Meat and fish generate substantial earnings through export sales, which are very important and need to be carefully maintained by always ensuring hygiene standards. Having mentioned all the operations taking place countrywide, the question still remains whether there is enough food for everybody. Severe acute malnutrition, poverty, and inequality amongst vulnerable groups remain problematic. Rural communities rely on supplementary food parcels, assistance from government, donor organizations, and civil society organizations to prevent loss of lives amongst our society. This is unacceptable and should not be the case. Although Namibia does not produce enough food for its own needs, some 24% of all food grown per year is lost or wasted at farm level. Eliminating or minimizing food loss and waste along the entire value chain from producer to customer provides opportunities to further enhance food supplies in Namibia. Import and export of agricultural products play an important role in Namibia. While up to 77% of the value produced in the agriculture sector is exported and contributes significantly to the country's national trade balance, only 43% of the food consumed in Namibia is produced locally. At the same time, several initiatives have been launched to strengthen local food production capacity. These include government schemes such as the Horticultural Market Share Promotion Scheme, aimed at increasing the local sourcing of food, and the National Horticulture Development Initiative, aimed at opening local markets for locally produced horticulture commodities, as you may have seen in your supermarkets around the country. Long-standing challenges such as the shortage of suitable land, the lack of water, skills shortages, and we were talking about education earlier, and inadequate financial and technical resources to strengthen the subsisting farming sector remain food-related bottlenecks that negatively affect the food industry's sustainability.
Most parts of the country have a rainy season in summer and brings rainfall. Some rainy seasons are not that successful, as we are witnessing right now. And this rainfall is a prerequisite to sustain life. Water on land is required for the natural vegetation to grow and to enable activities to produce both food and water. The components of the water energy food nexus are like a team with players that must support each other to win a match, but there needs to be a coach to develop the strategy and to instruct the different team players to do what they best do and to allow them to do it while making sure that we are all working on a common goal. And so the purpose of this book is really to describe the contribution that each of the three elements, the water, energy, food nexus elements have, and to suggest how this interaction is best managed to achieve the objective of sustaining life and enabling socio-economic development in Namibia. So Piet now goes into the details of some numbers related to the water sector, and he says the following provides some information about the water situation in Namibia. And it is very important that we are not scared about these numbers, but it is still important that we quantify what we are having and what we need to have. So Piet says the availability of water for man, beast, vegetation, and socio-economic development is determined by the average mean annual rainfall. And on average, that average mean rainfall is only 250 millimeters per year. This rainfall is unevenly distributed over the land and varies between 0 along the coastal areas up to 700 millimeters per annum in the Zambezi region. Rainwater is then exposed to very high evaporation rates, varying between 3,700 millimeters per annum in the Karas region, so in the south, and some 2,600 millimeters in the Zambezi region. The huge difference between rainfall on the one hand, so average 250 millimeters per annum, and between evaporation, in other words, a few thousand millimeters per annum, that huge difference is the reason why Namibia is the most arid country in southern Africa. In fact, it is estimated that some 80% of the rain evaporates, so it falls and evaporates, 15% is used by vegetation, 2% becomes runoff in ephemeral rivers, and only 1% ends up in groundwater and recharges the groundwater that many Namibians are depending on. Now, in the historical past of the country, the natural availability of water in Namibia's interior was limited by how low the rainfall was. So access to water was mainly from perennial springs and hand-dug wells in ephemeral rivers. And as a result, the development of the country, the cultivation of crops and stock farming and so, was very significantly limited by having access to these few spotty places where water was indeed accessible. Now, with the population development and the increase of the population, more water was urgently required in areas in the interior, especially where there was no open water source to be found, but where good grazing was available, and possibly for crop farming or even for stock farming and so. So this is where in the German colonial period there was a program started to drill boreholes, and these boreholes to a significant degree unlocked underground water resources for land use, and so have opened up in the meantime large tracts of lands that have previously been inaccessible because there was no free water. And so today stock farming and food production is possible in many parts of the country, even though not on the in the extensive scale that we are witnessing in many other countries. So upon South Africa's administration of the then territory of Southwest Africa, a so-called irrigation department, which was later known as the Department of Water Affairs, was created, and they determined the potential of the water and the requirements for water infrastructure. And so it is very important to understand that we have built on this legacy of understanding water resources and building water resources, fully cognizant that water is a very scarce resource in Namibia.
Veilings môre op 17 April hou Blouberg 'n groot vee veiling op Grootfontein. Die Namibia Livestock Auctioneers hou 'n groot vee veiling op Mariental. Al die veilings is om 10:00. Op 18 April, Windhoek Livestock Auctioneers hou 'n groot vee veiling in Windhoek. Agri hou die Educate Akademie Produksie veiling op Otjiwarongo. En dit is om 8:00 die oggend. Op 19 April hou Blouberg 'n groot vee veiling op Otawie. Windhoek Livestock Auctioneers hou 'n groot vee veiling op Gobabis, albei om 10:00 die oggend. Op 23 April om 6:00 die aand hou Agri in Namibië genetika veiling in Windhoek. Om 10:00 die oggend hou Namibia Livestock Auctioneers 'n groot en klein vee veiling op Monica. Op 24 April hou Windhoek Livestock Auctioneers 'n groot vee veiling op Hoogveld en Namibia Livestock Auctioneers 'n groot en klein vee veiling op Aranos. Albei is om 10:00. Op 25 April Blouberg 'n groot vee veiling op Otjiwarongo. WLA hou 'n groot vee veiling op Kalkrand, albei om 10:00. Op 26 April NLA hou 'n groot en klein vee veiling op Mariental om 10:00. En op 27 April die Saterdag hou Agri 'n groot Nambibus wildveiling in Windhoek en dit vind plaas om 11:00. Die dagboek vir 4 Junie. Die 36ste jaarlikse kongres van die Landbouwerkgewersvereniging vind op Dinsdag 4 Junie by Arbush Lodge in Windhoek plaas. Vanjaar se tema vir die kongres is positiewe dinamika in boerdery en die fokus is op positiewe motivering van boerewerkgewers. Dennis Pretorius, NLU president, is die openingsspreker en Robert McGregor van Cirrus Capital gaan lede inlig oor die ekonomiese vooruitsigte vir Namibië. Helmut Halenke, landbou-ekonoom en boer, gaan vertel hoe om uitdagings op die plaas te bowe te kom. Eckhart Furch, kommersiële boer, bespreek die rol wat opleiding kan speel om landbou in Namibië verder te ontwikkel. Registrasiegelde beloop $500 Namibiese per afgevaardigde en registrasievorms moet die NLU-kantoor teen 24 Mei bereik. Vir meer inligting, kontak vir Dani van Vieren, die hoofbeampte van die LWV. Vleispryse, ons gee hulle die veilingspryse per kilogram en soos wat ons vanaf die begin van die jaar kan opmerk, kan ons sien dat vleispryse geweldig daal. Tollies gaan nou teen $27.51, verse vir $23.52. Stoorosse gaan vir $26.67, stoorverse $24 Namibiese $25, slagosse $25.77, slagverse $25 Namibiese $73. Koeie van maar tot vetkoeie wissel van $17 Namibiese $85 tot $26 Namibiese $44. Slagbulle gaan vir $23.55. Koeie met kalwers per kop gaan nou vir $8.845. Slagskaap dorper gaan slegs vir $30.28. En as ons kyk wat die verbruiker in die winkel daarvoor betaal, kan ons sien dit is 'n reuse verskil. Bokke gaan vir $908 Namibiese per kop. Volgende week hou Namibië Media Holdings die gewilde Namibië Toerisme Expo by die Windhoek Buiteklapoort. Nou dit is altyd 'n baie lekker sosiale geleentheid op die kalender en ons nooi alle boere uit om gerus ook by ons te kom kuier. Kom ons kuier daar om die vure en ons kyk wat gaan in ons toerisme en natuurlik ook in ons jagbedryf aan en alle boere is welkom om gerus te kom inloer. Ons speel uit met 'n video van Agribank. Mooi loop en lekker week verder. Totsiens.
I'm Andre Kangela. I'm a farmer in the south. Currently we are on Guru Hub. It's a farm located about 60 km from Keetmanshoop in the Arab direction. So I obtained a loan from Agribank, and it's a loan which was quite impactful in taking my business to the next level. So yeah, it's a good thing, and I will encourage anybody who has the opportunity and who considers taking a loan. And as long as you utilize the loan for the right reasons, you can just make a success out of it, yeah. And it's something if you have an idea to do it, go for it. Tapping from the experience of somebody who's in the industry for many years, yeah, you can only learn from such a person. And the information, the guidance we obtained from Mr. Losper, it works. Yeah, you can just, if you implement it, you listen to him, and you do what he says, you follow his guidance, yeah, you try, and then most of the time it works. Farming is a business, so to expand it, take it to a next level, yeah, and just to grow the operation, yeah, that's the vision. If you have an idea, go for it, yeah. And if you have an idea in farming, go for it, yeah. So and there's institutions like Agribank who can assist you to realize that concept of yours. So if you just go for it, yeah. That's the message, yeah. And the loans are there, especially like the different products that Agribank offers for youth, for empowerment, affirmative action. Those kind of loans are there, yeah. So it's all up to you to implement if you have an idea, yeah. The youth, usually farming is seen as a sector which many people are not seeing the value of it, yeah. And I really encourage, especially the youth. It's something you can make a living out of, yeah. So consider it, going into farming.